We tried to form a perfect union. The producers, Phil Lord and Chris Miller, the director and creator of Archer, the writer of Wonder Woman 80. Now I see where I went wrong.
Yeah, I'll take that. That's good.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's like so many great things that, great ideas that came together, and then we got a mess. America.
Nah. Even this feels a little too fluffy for America. For what it really is. I should say it's a goddamn comedy.
Anyway. Yeah. Which was definitely the point of this movie.
Yeah, I get it was the point. But there's
it fell flat on its face is the problem.
It was the creator of Archer and Frisky Dingo and just indulging in their worst tendencies for like an hour and a half. Thankfully, only an hour and a half. Yeah. I mean, the animation's good. Like that part was nice, but good. Like, Lord, it's something we thought was a lot more clever than it is.
Yeah, there's sometimes where I'm not sure if the movie was being clever at like when it could have been, or if it was just like me just trying to fish for anything.
I think it's probably the latter. Sometimes when it thinks it's being clever, it's right in your face about how clever it thinks it's being in that moment. Like it's not subtle about it. It literally says, "This is the point of the scene right now."
Yeah, like the movie straight up says it's like, yeah, it's like. Basically, the movie straight acknowledges in a scene where it's just like, so many stupid people in America. It's like the only way to get down to their level to understand what the hell we're talking about is to basically make a cartoon about it.
Which is like, again, I can't believe I have to say this. Peter Rabbit 2 did it better.
Which I heard was a marked improvement over the first one.
It is a kind of insane experience. I'll tell you about it later because most of that review is just me speculating on how it was written because the meta narrative is fascinatingly bitter and I still to this day do not understand it and I'm kind of fascinated and just I want to know what happened. But I'll tell you about it after the recording because it is fascinating. But anywho, this fucking movie. So like here's the thing, like I don't have watched Frisky Dingo or anything like that, but I liked Archer. I like 3-4 seasons of Archer. For the most part, to get an idea of like what the kind of style of humor this is and what works about it, what doesn't work about it. This movie is just full of everything that does not work about like the later seasons of Archer, basically. Yeah. Where it's all just parodies and references and just things that don't hold any weight or consequence.
Like the vibe I was getting was it instead of pulling like from the good ones like either Airplane or Walk Hard, we were getting not quite to the level of like the lesser scary movie / those two guys that went off to do like epic movie Meet the Spartans. It wasn't that bad, but it felt like they were doing that exact same kind of humor, like the part where you see like Ford's Theater and you see like the Ford logo up on it and you see like all these weird just kind of like little changes on like movie titles. Although I will say I did get a laugh out of King James and the Giant Peach. I don't know what it was about that one. That one kind of gave me a chuckle.
I didn't see that one. I think I was already just kind of zoned out by that point.
It was like in the opening scene.
This is the case where I checked
like they had some like
I just groaned for most of it.
I don't blame you. There's some sight gags I got to laugh out of. Like that I'll give it credit for. It's like some of the sight gags, just because like they're just there and not trying to like be her about it, like kind of gave me some laughs here and there. Like, what was the other one? Like, I don't know. There's something funny about the John Wilkes merch booth there in the Ford Theater.
Okay, that gave me I'll give it that. The problem is like this movie feels like it was written by or for like 15-year-olds. While trying to think like, it's being clever because it's trying to get these ideas to that demographic. While also throwing in shit that like only people like in their late 20s or late 30s would get. Like I don't know how many people in that demographic are going to get the fucking transporter reference, but that's fucking there for some.
Yeah, that was an example of like the why is this thrown in here thing.
And it just feels like a series of blatant references with no connecting tissue. It's just there's like, ooh, I recognize that thing. And then it's like how it just it just substitutes like jokes with like it's one of those lazy comedies that thinks if you just say a curse word that counts as a joke, as of being as opposed to a joke that the curse word makes funnier. The part where like I don't think I'm giving anything away. Abe Lincoln dies.
That I gotta laugh at him because it's just like it was so over the top with his death and like so prolonged at the same time.
It's like when he jumps down and he goes like "Sem Scepter bitches" or something like that. It's like okay, that's again just a swear word as a joke. Okay, cool. You're very edgy.
Yeah.
Congratulations. And that just kind of keeps that tone to the rest of the movie, and there's nothing to it. At least with Archer when it does that stuff, it's like it's driven by the characters, and like they kind of drive the action, and when they'll make those jokes, they actually land because it's like what they would do in that situation, as opposed to this where all of a sudden they're just like it's Fast and Furious, but they're with horses, and at one point like there's the Last Jedi reference for no goddamn reason.
Wait, which references? Which I know they made a lot of Star Wars references in this movie. Like I know they did the Vader helmet, the AT-ATs.
Yeah, the
what was the Last Jedi reference?
The AT-ATs. That was reference to the Last Jedi. You know, at the end when he's like, "Fire!"
Oh, right. Gotcha.
Like RoboCop reference.
God, what else?
For some reason.
Why? Yeah, it's like why did Paul Revere get turned into a cybernetic centaur?
Like I mean I can kind of get behind the joke of Samuel Adams being being recognized more as the beer as opposed to the actual political figure he was. That's a funny idea.
Yeah.
The actual execution is goddamn insufferable.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the problem. Like the whole idea of like this is how like seeing the patriot, I'm not sure, like nationalistic extremists, like viewing America, like basis, like this is, they're kind of poking fun of the idea of like how they view things. The problem is just so much of the humor is just low hanging fruit. Yeah. Like the thing where it's like, we need to get our army all loaded up. What do? They go to Walmart. It's like, what's the point? So what's the purpose of getting these rifles? Hunting. It's like it's been done.
I mean, like the one joke that made me laugh as far as the whole gun control thing was just when they handed AR-15s and he goes like, "By the way, guys, we need these back." I thought that was actually like a legitimately funny line. That really burns into the ground because he doesn't know when to shut the fuck up. Which I'm realizing is an issue with Jason Sudeikis' character. Not Jason Sudeikis. Mantzoukas. Thank you. Zane's is it Mantzoukas or Mantzoukas?
I can't remember. I think it might be Mantzoukas.
I think it's Mantzoukas.
Yeah, I think you're right, Mantzoukas.
Mantzoukas' character is where they just give him too much to work off of, and they don't know when to say cut. Invincible has the same problem. Which is like, and I love Jason Mantzoukas. He's a very, very funny actor when he's used appropriately. And so is Channing Tatum. But it just goes in again like the script just gives them like nothing but the laziest bare bones shit to work with. That just wastes their talents and just replaces it with a bunch of screaming and yelling and bro shit. And none of it lands. None of it's funny. None of it actually says anything of value other than, hey, they sure were racist.
Yeah. Like I remember one of the other gags I did get a laugh out of was the part where like they kind of drove home just like how ridiculous some of the complaints during the revolution was, like initially, like the whole focus on taxation and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, we call these guys the fun police, it's because they're always like trying to harsh our buzz and like kill our great times. Oh yeah, that sounds pretty bad. All they did to me was kill my people and take our land. But like that one, just like that dry deadpan delivery compared, it's like, yeah, there are people that got dealt with way worse shit than this, and just like the way they left that, I was like, okay, that was kind of a funny line.
Yeah, it's
also just like once again, kind of like, oh, sorry, you first.
No, I was gonna say like for a movie that also purports to like be making fun of the American myth, it still purports a lot of the bad ideas behind it. Like again, for the simple fact that we did not go like taxation was not the reason we went into the Revolutionary War.
Yeah.
The reason we're in the Revolutionary War, for those who don't know, is again to protect slavery. Because by that point, England was thinking of abolishing things because like French and Spain were arming the ones in various colonies and getting them all riled up. So it's like, this isn't worth the trouble anymore. But since that was America's bread and butter, that's kind of was the linchpin that actually sparked the Revolutionary War. It was not taxation.
Didn't know that. Did not realize that was another element. Because I was oversimplifying, but even then, I did not know about that part being a key factor.
Yeah, like there was a point, like again, that's what really sparked it. At least again, as far as I know. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
Because I know it was like a bunch of things, but yeah. So like those two factors are both just, well, not a huge amount. It's like a couple specific things, like that being one of them. Yeah.
Well, because they realized if the united colonies under one ruling government, that means they can more easily regulate and control the slave trade.
Right.
As opposed to the independent ones that are going on right now, which had ruling class like Spain and Portugal and all these different places that all were kind of doing their own shit with and trying to basically rise up against colonizers. And mostly England, not even the colonizers, mostly England.
Speaking of which, that reminds me, one of the other gags I wasn't sure, like if it was just like one of those things where like I was just over calculating, but I could have sworn they made a 3/5 compromise jab at one point. Because there's some part where like Killer, the blacksmith who turns out to be John Henry, voiced by Killer Mike, there's some part where he makes a comment about there's like either 3/5 or two, like there's only 2 out of 5 of you that I'd actually listen to. I was just like,
yeah, that's
the reason why he's making
that.
Yeah, so it was like, it was a subtle joke. It's like, there are ways they could have worked it in, like that gag.
But then they do like this whole thing that feels like it's written by like an 8-year-old on sugar, where it's like, but you leaked all the gasoline out of my chain blades.
Oh yeah,
or whatever it was. And this kind of thing that seems like well, I got a dinosaur who eats force field dogs kind of vibe.
Oh yeah, pretty much. It's like once again, I get that's the point. Like they're just. The whole point of it was not to be subtle. They're just like they really want to like punch you in the face, specifically a certain group of people, to say wake the hell up. But the problem is, like we said, the humor just doesn't land.
And more importantly, if you're gonna do that, if the punch doesn't land, then you're just a stupid movie.
Yeah.
So for all intents, I guess that's the point. I get that's what we're going for, but it just completely misses the mark on its intended purpose. Therefore, all you're left with is a dumb fuck movie with jokes that are shitty.
Yeah. It's like, and like we've seen dumb humor done smartly before. Like when I mentioned Walk Hard, that's one of my favorite dumb movies.
Walk Hard, any Edgar Wright movie.
Oh my God, I'm blanking out. Monty Python.
Mitchell versus the Machines.
Yes, God, I love that movie.
And just like any number of ones that actually have a brain behind them and actually know what they're trying to do and know that these things require balance.
And that's funny. Phil Lord and Miller produced Mitchell's versus the Machines too.
Like a produce versus write and director are two very different things.
Yeah, but producers ultimately have the biggest control. But we've seen when they have their influence done properly, it makes a good impact. Like Storks, they were only producers, but damn it, if their humor wasn't in there and made a difference.
By that same perspective, Steven Spielberg produced the first few Transformers movies. That did not change the quality.
I'd argue the first one maybe, but yeah, from there on out, it was just downhill.
So it really depends. Just because they're a producer doesn't mean they were involved.
Yeah, I will acknowledge that because, yeah, it's I'm just saying they can have the power to do that. I'm not saying they always will.
For sure. Yeah,
that's always why when a lot of studios say the producer's behind this movie, that's usually a bad sign to the movie trailer that it's gonna suck.
And even then, it just fails as a comedy. Not because it just throws random references with no rhyme or reason, but because the characters aren't interesting. You don't like anyone. They're all awful. Maybe Geronimo and Blacksmith are okay for the little screen time they have, but you're stuck with most of the white dudes.
Thomas Edison was fine at times.
Fine. I don't really understand why they made the changes there.
I don't know either. Which reminds me, I did get one the kind of laugh I kind of got a laugh out of the whole burning at the stake thing, just because they're basically sentencing her to death via practicing the scientific method. I was like, okay, that gave me a chuckle.
Funny idea and concept, in reality insufferable.
Yeah.
Which is like, and again, like Olivia Munn does a fine enough job. There's nothing against her. I don't even have like any like reservations against having like an Asian woman character in this one. I just don't know why it was Thomas Edison.
Yeah.
Like honestly, I think like Nikola Tesla would have made more sense.
Oh man, Tesla would have been awesome. But yeah, this movie was just.
And then it's just like there's a fucking Titanic reference for some reason.
Yeah.
And just all this shit. Like, why is any of this here? What does any of it have to do with anything? And then it goes straight to like Family Guy humor at the end. It's like, oh, they're bathing all the white people in tea, which makes them British, which feels like Family Guy logic. It's just, oh God, it goes nowhere. You don't care. Nothing is fueled by anything except just cynicism, which is fine. Again, if you actually bring the point around. Like a balance and a deft hand and somebody who knows what the fuck they're doing would be great. But no, we got the same goddamn writer as Wonder Woman 1984.
And apparently I just found out the first Doom movie.
Of fucking course it is.
Yeah, I was like, how did that person get work after that?
I don't know. He's wearing Sun-Chi, which makes me a little nervous.
Yeah. It's like, now that I saw that, it's like, uh-oh.
Now,
I was like, why was I hyped?
To be fair, so far Marvel has not had Thor 2 maybe, that bad of a script before.
Yeah.
Even with things that should not have worked. So I'm still willing to give it a fair chance.
And here I'm hopeful, but yeah, it's like, ugh.
That is my first guess. Like, oh, that could be a problem. It also has like 3 writers. So who knows how much influence he really had in the overall product.
Yeah.
So again, I'm still hopeful for Shang-Chi. I really want it to be good. If nothing else, just because it's Abomination versus Wand, which I want to see.
Yeah. That was a neat little surprise in the trailer. But yeah, honestly, just skip this movie. It's not worth your time. There are way better satires out there that are way funnier.
This might make my worst of list this year. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. This is by far not the worst thing I've ever watched, but the year, you're right. It is definitely on this.
Yeah, like it's pretty bad. It's sad when I'd rather watch Peter Rabbit 2.
Dude, it's sad when Rotten Tomatoes in the audience agrees.
I know, right? I was looking at that too.
I was like, oh no. Oh no.
Oh God.
That takes a special kind of fuck up.
I gotta watch Boss Baby 2 tomorrow.
Oh God.
That one
like, at least, like, can it get any worse than America, the motion picture? I had to remember to add in that little subtitle because, like, but
I will say, it is the funniest, probably like invitation text message I've ever had with one of you guys. Where I messaged Matt and I was like, "Hey, buddy, you got any time in the near future?" Because I've got some time over the weekend. Why? Like a couple hours go by. Ah, shit! I'm watching Boss Baby 2, aren't I? It's like, please don't do this alone.
Doing the little buddy cry smile.
I think I use like the little kid like.
Oh God.
Oh yeah, but America.
I just imagine that weird little monkey. That
a little bit. Yeah, very much.
But yeah, Godspeed. Getting through that.
Oh, Lord.
American. I think that was the other thing that kind of disappointed me with this movie. Now that I think about it, was like there was a really good cast involved too. Like a lot of funny people. Like like you mentioned, Channing Tatum, Jason Mantzoukas. They can both be like really funny. Simon Pegg, like I love him.
Who's Simon Pegg?
He was the king.
Of course he was.
Yeah.
Oh man. But like
I did get a mild chuckle just out of that soccer ball monster thing being called Manchester for some reason. I don't know why I found that funny,
I don't know why there was a soccer ball monster at all. That's what was annoying me is you get it because they call it football over there.
I think at that point it's just like, please give me something to laugh at.
Ugh, Lord. I don't know.
Ugh.
Fuck this movie.
Yeah.
Uh, Also, I have no idea how human pregnancies work. That's a nitpick, but it bothered me.
Huh?
The whole thing is like they say like Mary, George's wife, gets pregnant at the beginning of the movie, and then it cuts to the end where 6 months later and the child is born. It was like that's not how that works, movie. Again, super nitpick. Not expecting any bug that anyone else but me.
I actually honestly find that kind of funny now that I think about it. Like I love this, like that's just random BS that like is funny because it's just like it's just a there without like getting in the way of things.
I don't even know if that was a joke. I think the writer just got lazy, or the animators or somebody.
Yeah.
But yeah, American Motion Picture. Fuck, this movie can fuck off.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, no, I got nothing else. You got anything else?
No, just like I said, just watch. I'm sure there are better like satires about America. I just can't think of it off the top of my head because like I'm really just tired thinking of this movie. I just want to watch Pig with Nicolas Cage. Is that too much to ask for?
Pig actually does look good. I do want to see that.
Yes.
Idiocracy. Go watch Idiocracy.
There we go.
Much better like deconstruction of like America as is.
Yeah, because that one felt a little bit too real.
It's feeling too real.
It's like, no, it wasn't meant to be a prophecy.
You know, the first Purge is a better like satire on America than this movie is.
Yeah, at least then that even if that movie was a little confused about some of its messaging, at least there was still a point to it.
At least that one had like, hey, you know, the government officials look actually like literally like Nazis. Do you get it? Because we're kind of putting it in your face.
Yeah.
Which speaking of which, you got to watch Purge out on Sunday. So
yeah, I need to watch everything after the first one because I just did not care for that first movie.
The first movie sucks, but I kind of think it's I find it ironically funny.
Yeah, I know you enjoyed the villain in that one.
Mostly because of like the most ineffective villains I've ever seen in a horror film.
And also it's because he was like so over the top.
So over the top. For me, I always remember like the creepy little people, like one piggybacking there when they're going through the halls. Oh, look, we're so creepy. And he all comes around with a shotgun and goes, bam! It's like all that buildup, and you just get shot in the fucking face. I don't know. I have been like a weird fan of the Purge franchise in a weird way, so I'm looking forward to it. Or I went to the Fast movies recently, so there's like, yeah, get back into these ones too.
I am simultaneously curious and scared to watch the newest Fast and the Furious movie.
Oh, I fucking loved it.
I'm curious. I'm loving the family memes that are coming out of it, though. Especially the ones where just like Dom gets shut down, like where it's like the dark side's nothing against family.
Me Muha like went on a mission. We binged 4, 5, 6, and 7 and 8, like in the course of 2 weeks, and then went see the 9th one, the Metreon.
Yeah, I just watched the director's cut of 8 to prep for that. So
I don't know. It was kind of weirdly worth it to watch them all kind of like back to back because you kind of see in a weird way the evolution of the series. Yeah. Because like the 4th one was the last one to take itself kind of seriously, and after that it's just gone.
5th one I felt had like a good balance.
But then it ends with like cars chasing it, like tracking a vault through like city streets and shit. Like
it was ridiculous, but like it still had like some interesting stuff kind of like playing throughout. Like that was Saints Row 2 to me. That's the way to describe it.
And everything else is Saint Row 3 and 4.
Yeah,
which I'm personally okay with. I always think this movies do best when they're just doing the crazy shit through practical effects and make them look cool.
Yeah.
Like, say what you will about the magnet cars, that shit really is happening. Which is kind of cool. So, I don't know. I think we're just shooting the shit now. So,
yeah. We're losing our goddamn minds here.
Yeah. Thank you guys for watching. See you later.
All right. Take it easy.